Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Political Job Interview, where I interview candidates running for election. I'm VCalla, the host, and today I take on the role as the boss, giving a job interview to today's candidate, Brandon Bay. Brandon is running for election for Ottawa City Council as candidate for Mayor of Ottawa. Thank you, Brandon, for your time, and thanks for joining me today.
Thank you for having me, Vincenzo. I'm excited to be here.
Well, it's great to have you, and let's get this started. So, as with any good job interview, I'm going to start off with an opportunity to learn more about Brandon. So, first question is, can you tell me a bit about yourself and your story?
Sure. So, as you said, my name is Brandon Bay. I'm running for mayor. I'm currently a software developer at an IO accelerator company called Wellbe. We're making software tools for retirement communities to help the staff make, more resident-focused programming, more individualized activities, and just really be able to focus on making the lives of the seniors great and not on the administrative work they're currently burdened with. I've got a long history in software before that. I also have been a community volunteer, both here and in my hometown of Bancroft, Ontario. Years ago, after I graduated university, I founded a charity here in Ottawa and ran that for a little while. And it was university that brought me here in the first place. I'm a University of Ottawa graduate. I've been here since 2006, with the small exception of a 4-year working vacation, I like to call it, down in Boston, Massachusetts. But Ottawa had my heart, and back I came.
So I wanted to ask you now, why have you decided to run for this position, especially the position of mayor? That's not something small. Why? Why have you decided to run?
So there are issues that are important to me and to my generation, like housing affordability, like the future of employment and how, working from home is going to impact that, especially in a city like Ottawa that has its two major employers in the federal government and high tech able to allow people to work remotely. The jobs don't have to stay here, but hopefully we can incentivize them to do that. About the environment, about reconciliation with Indigenous peoples, and the crises we've seen in recent years of transit and policing. And so I really just want to make sure that the next council's priorities are the right priorities. And I figured what better way to keep candidates on topic than to be a part of that conversation. And so my main motivation for running is to make noise about these issues and make sure that whoever's elected, whether that's me or not, knows about these issues, is well-versed in these issues, and is prepared to do something about them.
So let's take a bit of time now to talk about this job and really what you're bringing to it. So I want to ask you first, what experience do you bring to this job, and more on that, what experience do you bring to this job that you find is important? What is some important experience you're bringing to this job?
So directly related to politics, I was involved with my community association when I lived in Bells Corners. That was Westcliff Estates. I've been involved with the Nepean Federal Liberal Association in the past. I served on boards for the charity I founded and for the School of Electrical Engineering and Computer Science and the Student Federation when I was a student. And just, years of leadership in both job and volunteer roles, which are very transferable to a political sort of role. I think both of those are important in their own way. Being able to have that vision and inspire people to pursue it is important, especially in a figurehead position like the mayor. But also having some practical experience in politics, whether that's directly on the city council or something adjacent. I think it's important that people have, some background in this. And I bring a little of both.
So I wanted to ask you, so there's a lot of candidates running for mayor. You're one of 14, and I wanted to ask you, what sets you apart from all of them? From all of the other candidates, what sets you apart?
It's hard to compare against 13 other people, I think the couple of things that do set me apart from all of the candidates is that I've lived all of the ways of life Ottawa offers. I grew up in a tiny little cottage country town. I know what it is to be rural. I lived in Bells Corners and worked in Canada for several years. I understand the suburban life, and I lived downtown throughout my university days, and I'm currently just outside of it in Riverview Park. And so, I know all of the different options that you have to live in Ottawa. I know the different ways those communities contribute to the city. I know how to leverage them to build a great city. Like all of those pieces fit together and are very important to us, whether that's, the agriculture in the rural communities, growing our food and making sure that we can eat when there's supply chain disruptions like we've seen over the last few years, or whether that's all of the services that being in the heart of a city affords us, the collective buying power to provide, like good hospitals and and electrical grids and water services and that sort of thing. And so we play well into one another. And I'm familiar with all of those pieces. I also have a technological background, working in software for all these years. I see the many ways we could use technology to move the city forward, to modernize and digitize some of the services we offer, to improve things like course signups for camps and swimming with the city every year that were both absolute disasters this spring when parents tried to register their children. There's a lot we can fix there. And I think my technical background fits with that. And I think my particular vision for the city is strong and unique. And I mean, most candidates offer a vision, but hopefully mine that's been built from conversations with people, that's come from listening to the community, is something that voters connect with.
Part of serving as an elected official is serving that community, serving those people who elect you. So a few questions about how you want to serve those people, the people of your community. So the first question is, what's something that the people you would like to serve, the people of Ottawa, need that you want to get done if elected?
The big thing we need that touches on all of the other problems we're facing is complete communities. Housing affordability has gotten wildly out of control in some parts of the city. It's tripled in the last 3 or 4 years. And we need to do something about that. And so that includes building more housing quickly. I'm promising to build 160,000 units in the next 8 years, which about doubles the current pace of housing starts. Loosen the zoning bylaws to allow that, and eliminate the affordable housing wait list in the next 6 years, which is a problem we've been facing longer than even the middle class has been suffering from this affordability crisis. And along with these affordable homes, we need complete communities that support all of the ways people want to live, so that you don't need to commute out of them, so that people can have these communities that they can live and walk and bike and scooter and skateboard and whatever way they want to get around, safely and easily, and get all the services they need, all of their food and their medical, clinics and libraries. And we need supports for working from home in these places, like WeWork style co-working spaces, whether that's commercially provided by companies in Ottawa like Spaces, or whether that's built into libraries and run by the city. There's a lot that we can do to offer more in communities, and then offer good transit connections between them for when people do want to leave. And that will help us have a more vibrant city, have a lovely home for everyone wherever they happen to be, and to reduce greenhouse gas emissions and help with the environment, because people don't need to drive as much anymore.
So before I go on to the next question, I just want to ask you, I've been asking all my mayoral candidates about this.
Yes.
And I wanted to ask you, so the provincial government just introduced the new strong mayor powers, that the mayors of Ottawa and Toronto will have special powers to veto things. I want to ask you, would you support that or use that if you were to become mayor?
I would not. I don't support it. I think the way a mayor ought to govern is through consensus and relationship building, and there should be a give and take, that either ideas are well debated and a consensus is built between a good compromise among the councillors and their different constituents' needs, or whether that's like a trade basis where sometimes the rural communities get what they want and sometimes the urban communities get what they want, and together hopefully we all succeed in our own way. And in particular, the veto power that's been announced, I think, is particularly dangerous and bad for democracy. The mayor shouldn't be able to single-handedly override all of these other elected officials.
So finally, I wanted to ask you, what's one accomplishment that you have achieved that demonstrates why you'll be a good elected official if the people choose you?
I think to speak to this better than one accomplishment, I'd like to say that I've just got a demonstrated track record of dedication and the community service. When I was young, I was civic minded. There was a lot of trash gathering along the rural highway I grew up along, and I, with some other friends, organized a trash pickup that the community really needed, but nobody was able to spearhead. And since then, I finished university, and I was no longer involved in all of the philanthropic stuff that we were doing in school anymore. And so I founded my charity to continue that, because my life just felt incomplete without giving back to my community in some way. And we only had limited success. It was a bunch of fresh graduates with very little money trying to help. And I think we made a big impact on the people we were able to help, even if it wasn't the business success story that we might have hoped. And what brought me back to Ottawa was Wellbe in turn, which was, writing software that mattered instead of chasing dollars in the United States where the industry pays better. And now we're helping to give over 26,000 residents living in retirement and long-term care communities just a better life, and make sure that no one's overlooked, and make sure that everyone's able to do the things that they want to do for their twilight years. And so it's that passion, it's that need to help other people, it's that desire to do good that I think would make me a good elected official. And I hope that whoever is elected also has that passion for their community.
Thank you, Brandon, so much for joining me today. It was great having you, and I'm sure the viewers have enjoyed hearing what you have to offer to them. Election day is October 24th, 2022. And if you liked hearing what Brandon Bay had to say and you live in Ottawa, you have the opportunity to vote for him on election day. Check with your local election officials for more details. That's fun to say. Brandon Bay had to say vote for him on election day. To stay updated, make sure to follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at VC Productions 25. Check out my website at vincenzocalla.com. Make sure to like, subscribe, and choose to get notifications here on YouTube. The Political Job Interview is a VCalla production. So until the next video, I'm Vincenzo Calla, signing out.